Dad, what is the connection between worship and mission?
You know, Deo, this is something amazing question. And I'm very happy for this came up, this topic, for basically, I think this is one of the key for we can truly worship our God. Very difficult to worship a God when we don't experience anything or just we believe have a God, but somehow missing the relationship with Him. But when we have the relationship, wow! So we know is not an anonymous God, an unknown God, but what Paul is teaching also, for we know whom we worship, and this is amazing. After when I saved, basically I get I can share key Bible verse. This is Mark chapter 16 and verse 15, 16, 17. And basically, I just like to read today the verse 15. Jesus, who is talking here, he said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation." Basically, I just understand many years later about the key word to go. Of course, have some people who don't like to go, but this is really interesting. For if you see the Bible, everything is and everyone is moving. Even Israelites from Egypt to the Promised Land, or more Promised Land, basically, when Moses was in the desert with the Israelites and moved to the real and other place, what we call for Promised Land. And David also walked with the ark, and look at that Jesus walk to Palestine, how we call this place today, Israel. And also the disciples even got, until to Spain. Unbelievable. And listen, the Great Commission really says if to go. And often the church is saying, come. And yes, it's good, can arrange many different way for different programs, invitations, and people coming. And not at all problem this, but the Bible teaching to go. Now, it's not means for after salvation you need to go and be a missionary, maybe in Africa. But maybe just listen to God. And this is what's the interesting for your father. When I begin to relate with God, to our wonderful Father, he just sent me step by step for different places. It has happened for just go to the other part of Budapest to somebody, or go to somewhere, to the countryside, or visit some fellowship. And always was surprised for us, was not well arranged by man. Like today, we have mobile telephone, email, many things. But this time was not like this. It was nothing. We just get up and go. The only contact what we have basically, if somebody had telephone, for very seldom had telephone for people. Somebody waited even 10, 15 years. So the contact was more about letter, and maybe some had not fax, but similar things. So this was something, a telegram for very fast can receive a message from us. But honestly, often we just use if somebody had birthday or somebody passed away. So the communication was not the same. And therefore I was very excited also when the Lord said, go. And surprise, for many times really, the situation wait at me. And we just see, not just myself, but those also is finally I had possible to meet for, wow, God prepared something for us. Sometimes I don't have idea about what is the message. Just I receive to go. And sometimes very famous evangelist was healed by God just for visited him. And I was very green, that means not experienced healer ministers. But was a very known name. But God had mercy, for he suffered so many things, and I just prayed and it happened. Or go other place for somebody had problem with ear, cannot hear well. And when we began to pray, the Lord showed about things, what he needed to settle with God. And after he had wonderful opened the ear. Somebody cannot sleep. So a lot of healings happened, surprise, as a surprise. Just for spontaneously listen the word, what is came in my heart. As faith comes for hearing, and hearing his voice, his God, his word. So if you like to relate with God, it's a wonderful thing for Lord. What do you want? Send me, Lord. And just coming a very small thinking type of voice, but it's not really voice, just like what you're thinking. And if you believe and you make an action, you can see his glory. You can have many experience. Now this is great worship. The big question about how can be a mission connected to the worship. For when you see his glory, when people be healed, when you meet with people with surprise, and many times you can learn, not just for you give the food, but at the same time you learn many things. So you're growing in spiritual. So it took a long time when already I arrived to Hong Kong through Sweden. And Hong Kong was and is basically the mission field when the Lord sent to nations, to Africa, to Australia, to many parts of Asia, to Europe, and finally to US also. And it was wonderful, for there was a great blessing for us going and share the gospel and singing Bible verse songs and blessing the different recordings from when we left. They continue still there, for they had possible to listen the Bible. So just ask the Lord morning, Lord, send me, inspire me. And maybe you just call to your friend. Yeah, maybe just your classmate and ask, how are you? Or maybe an old friend who a long time you not meet, like a discovery baby when we was before. So you can call, how are you? Or sometimes the Lord lead you for go somewhere, some reason. Or search in the internet something, topics that you can learn something surprisingly what the Lord lead your life. And this can bring you to praise and worship when you're seeing him. So when you see in your father about a lot of signs and wonder, and you know well, for I like to always share about this experience. Is not just for me, it's for everyone, and for you also, though, and those who listen this podcast. So let's just follow this great commission what the Lord give for us, for everyone, to go into all the world. And all the world is not just the longest and farthest place, but maybe your neighbor, maybe when somebody in a church. Will Lord give you your heart, and be surprised when you're not arranged yourself, but when God arrange and inspire you. So do it. Go. Thanks for watching the Leslie King's podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are royalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out. Thank you for your support.